start. Okay. So you may heard about design pattern and all, right? So what is the design pattern? So design pattern, nothing like in our day-to-day life, right? We use certain pattern to solve a day-to-day problem, right? So maybe arranging our cupboard, arranging our table, arranging our accessories. So in the way we, as per our requirement, we arrange, right? So if something which we need frequent, we used to keep nearby, and if something we use rarely, we used to keep somewhere, right? If you need to save a space, we use certain pattern in our mind, right? So basically, that is only we are doing with code. So design pattern is nothing but a solution for recurring problem, the problem which we get again our day to day, right? In certain or in a specified context. So if someone asks what is design pattern, you say design pattern is a solution to the recurring problem in the specified context. Okay. So design pattern. Okay. So design pattern is having two types. The first one is called GOF, okay, design pattern, and the second one is called domain specific. Okay, what is GOF? So mostly when you go for interview, you will get questions from GOF. So GOF is like gang of four. Okay, this is, they like in that one we identify all the common design patterns for which is common for all the domains. Like if you are developing any software, you might end up using one of the design pattern. Okay, so we have to know the name, who and all are there in GOF. Okay, so in GOF, one second. Okay, so in gang of four, we are having almost 22 or 24 design pattern. Okay, but we'll not, we have to know all the design pattern names, but we'll learn few. Okay, so most important is singleton. Okay, then there is called factory design pattern. Then we are having observer. Then we are having command. Then composite. One, two, three, four, five. Then we are having iterator that we'll use. Then we are having proxy. You might heard about proxy. Adapter. This is A adapter. Then we are having prototype. Then we are having template. Then builder and visitor.
All this comes under GOF?
Yes, all this come under GOF. We are talking about GOF right now. Okay, this all come under GOF. Okay, so visitor, breeze, we don't have to go through each of them, but then we are having decorator. We should know the basic. Then we are having facade. Okay, then you remember this. You might remember flyweight. You guys remember, right?
Yeah.
Who is flyweight?
Um, String,
String constant pool, right?
yeah, string constant pull design path.
This is chain of responsibility, then interpreter, then mediator, then momento, TC, and one more state. Okay, so I am working since the last 8 years. Okay, I might use indirectly all of them, but directly, like if I have to use, okay, like I have used this singleton, factory, iterator, proxy, builder, adapter, command observer, decorator, prototype. Understand? Then these all right. So this is almost like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 10, and then 22, right? So this all 22 is like gang of 4. Okay. In that one also we are having a division. Okay. That we'll see later. But right now you have to know that what is design pattern. There are two type of design pattern, GOF and domain specific. So domain specific. So we are, for us, domain specific is, so after this, what we call, after your core Java, what we will learn? We will learn J2E, Java Enterprise Edition, means Charlotte, JSP, and based on that only the Spring Boot is also there. So those things we learn, right? So domain space pattern basically change with domain to domain, right? So what we learn is J2E design pattern. J2E. And if you are going with .NET, so you will learn .NET design pattern. For us, domain specific is J2E design pattern. So we learn what and all are J2E design pattern, which J2E use. Okay. So you are getting my point, right? So this is generic. This GOF is generic. Irrespective of domain, you will use this. Okay. You are understanding my point? This singleton factory, if .NET developer, Python developer, for everyone it is same. The only thing the code will change, concept will remain same. But when come to the domain specific, so domain specific is like for J2E different, as or a specific design pattern for .NET, it's specific design pattern for Node.js platform, it's a specific design pattern. So right now we're learning J2E design pattern. Okay, let me write it properly. Okay. Domain specific, so we call J2E design pattern. Okay, so what and all are there? So basically the first one is like front controller, then intercepting filter. You don't have to remember, you just have to know about that. Then application controller, then we are having business delegates, then we are having session facade, then we are having service locator, then we are having application service, and there are other also called DAO, which is you will learn in your data access object. So usually people used to call it DAO. And transfer object is one more, and service activator or message facade, we can say that message facade. Okay, so there are one, two more, one maybe less or more. Okay, but right now you know that what is design pattern. There are two type of design pattern. Gang of four. Gang of four include 22 design pattern. Okay, and then we are having domain specific design pattern, which is J2 design pattern that we'll come to know about in future. The front controller, intercepting application, business session, service application, and DAO access object, and message facade. Okay, but right now we'll learn how to write what is singleton, how to create singleton design pattern. Clear? Okay, so everyone have to be okay. So first of all, before going to write a code, we have to know what is singleton. So singleton design pattern. So let's assume if you are having a JVM, right? You installed in a system. This is system. This is your computer. Inside you are having JVM. So singleton design pattern ensure that only one object of a particular class is created. Okay, in one JVM or per JVM. Okay, so let's assume if you are having a class A, you created object of class A which is A1. So A1 will be here. So you cannot create A2. Only one object will be there. Always one object. If you create A2, A3, A4, they all point to this. You are understanding? So inside a JVM, you will always have only one object. You might be end up creating multiple reference, but they all hold only one object. Clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So if someone asks you what is singleton design pattern, so you can say that the singleton design pattern ensure that only one object of a particular class is created and all further references to the object of the singleton class refer to the same instance. Understand? Okay. So
Yes, yes.
now, okay. So there are certain steps to uh, write a singleton, steps to create a singleton design pattern. Steps. Okay. So the first step. Okay. Now think about you want to restrict object creation. So if you restrict your constructor, the people will not able to access the constructor, so they cannot create object of your class, right? Because there is only one way to create object of your class is by using constructor. The first step will make constructor private, right? So first is private constructor. Now come to the second point. Now you make constructor private. So outside of class, no one can access this constructor, so no one can create. But you need to create one object, right? Because singleton means one object you have to create, right? Okay. So how to create one object? Okay. So for that, what we have to do? We have to declare a private static variable. We have to declare the private static variable of the same class. Of the same class. Clear? So what we are doing? We have to create a private static variable of the same class that hold the singleton instance of the class. This is same. No. Okay, clear? You are understanding this point? So basically what I'm saying, ki we will create a private static variable inside our class which hold our object. Okay.
So since the constructor is private, we cannot use the constructor to instantiate the class, right? So that to create an object for the class.
Okay. So inside a class, okay, what is the scope of private?
It can be
Access
only
within a class.
yeah, yes.
So we can access within a class, we can create object. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the third point. So we have declared private constructor. We also declared a private variable. But how, like if end user, how will end user will get your object, right? You okay, you are
Yeah.
not allowing them to create, but you are allowing them to reference or point to that constructor, right? So how we'll do that? So for that, we'll define one public static method. Why public static? Why public static method? Any guess? Because if if from outside your class, if no one able to create object, they how they will access, they cannot access any of the variable data member, right? If they don't have
Yeah,
a,
then they so that they can invoke the static method.
yes, but they can access the static method and that static
Yeah.
method will return object, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
define a
okay.
public static method. So I have written two times. Okay, so define public static method that return single instance. That return single instance of the class. Okay, why I have written this 3 point? I can directly write the code. The reason to write this 3 points, so always when you guys get confused, you will remember there is a 3 point. First, private constructor. Second, private variable. Third, public static method. Okay, clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. So now let take a class. Okay. Take a class school. Okay. Okay. We'll take a class name school or take me a. Okay. Let's take a class name school. Okay. 1 second. So need to be a little bit. Okay. So first take class SCHOOL. Curly braces started. Okay. So now what I want is, oh man. So what I want, so I want to have only one object of school. Okay. Not more than one object. So every time we'll point, whenever we try to create a, what we call object of that school class, we'll always end up creating only one object, not more than one object. Okay. So how we'll do that? So first, what I said, first we need to take, we need to make our constructor private. So let's make constructor private first. SCHOOL school. So this is public now. I will make it private. Clear? So now constructor is private. What is the second step? So say private static variable
Private static.
of the same class. Okay. So let me create a private static variable of the same class. What is the class name? SCHOOL school. Right? Okay. Private static. Private static. 1 second. So first private static, same classes, SCH double OL school. Okay. And now, because we can school OBJ, now what we'll do? This is object. Okay. School is different. This is a class name and this is object name. Okay. Don't get confused. Okay. Now here I will say object equal to new SCH double OL school. You are understanding? You understand this line, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What I did as the second point mentioned, private static variable of the same class that holds single instance of the class. So this is single instance. I've created one object. Obj is holding it. Which type it is? Object type, private static. Now, what is the third point? Define a private static method that returns singleton instance of the class. So now we'll define a
Public static.
yes. So public static, whatever name you want to give. What it's going to return? It's going to return a school type, right? So okay, public static. So whatever name you want to give, you want to get SCH school instance, you can give this name and then curly braces started, curly braces end, right? So what it will return? Now if someone call this method, what it will return? It will return
OBJ.
OBJ. And then here your class end, right? Started here, ended here. Clear? So if let assume anywhere you are creating SCH double OL school object one equal to new, you cannot use, right? You can use new. This line is valid or not? Kritika,
Yeah.
outside of the class, is this
No, no, no.
valid?
Outside of, I don't know. Because you cannot invoke the constructor, right?
Yes, because constructor is private, so this will not work. So what will work? So how it will work? It will
We
work like
can invoke the static method.
school object one equal to SCH double OL school, right? With the class name you can access, right?
Yes.
Get school instance.
Instance.
So what it will return? It will return
OBJ, it will return the instance of the class.
this object, right?
Yeah.
We created already one. So let us assume we created another reference somewhere, right? obj2 same SCH double OL school dot get school instance. So what it will return? It will return the same object. So if you compare obj1 obj2 address, obj1 equal to obj2, what output you will get? You will get
Same.
true. Why?
True, yes.
Because both are pointing to the
Same instance.
same instance. So singleton is clear to you all?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
clear.
Okay. So if someone asks you to create a singleton class, what is singleton? Can you create a singleton class? All basic things you can do, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
basic. This you can create it. Okay. There are 2-3 things that we learn in future. Okay. If multi-threaded environment, people are able to create two objects. Okay. There is a pattern. I can create two objects. With deserialization also I can create two objects. Okay, with clone, if I implement clone, right? If I not restrict cloneable method, there with help of that also people can create second object, which will violate our pattern mechanism, right? So once we learn serialization and all everything, threading and all, then again we'll visit, nothing will change. Only two method will add where we'll throw exceptions. Okay, clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So right now it's very good. Okay. I'm not okay. Clone you can handle. You can implement cloneable interface, override clone, right? And inside the clone you can throw whatever you want. And there is other thing also related to like see here I have created this object right here, right? So even I like it's like eager loading. Okay, when class load, I created the object. But people say why you are creating. When people call this method, right? Public static, then you create object and return. Create only one object and return, right? So for that also we are having implementation that we learn in future, but not right now. Okay. Right now we just know okay what is singleton, how to create a singleton. Again, because anyhow in design pattern class, again I have to visit this. Okay. Now we call end-on pattern. What is end-on pattern? So let assume if there is a requirement where people are saying, okay, uh, uh, make write a class in certain way, only 5 object will get created, or only 4 object will get created, or only 6 object will get created, right? So how will do that? Any idea?
Have to restrict the number of or object or number of instance.
How will restrict that? Just think, just think because anyhow I will tell that singleton, you know that,
Is
right?
it an array? I mean,
Yeah. Any
um,
guess?
array
Anyone?
pattern we can do.
But there are other ways as well.
Otherwise, we should have a count of that object, and then that count should be fixed, like final.
See, this is fine. Whatever you are saying, that is fine. If you
Yeah.
create an array, you will keep there and then randomly will switch the array, right? But that how, let assume you created 5. Okay. So there should be certain mechanism where sometime I will return first object, sometime I will return second, sometime I will return sometime. Otherwise, you created 5 object and you will always return one, right? Then the four
Okay.
object that you created, there is no use, right?
Okay.
So how we'll do that? It's pretty simple, straightforward. Okay. Everything will be same as singleton design pattern. Everything. So let assume, let's take a class, a student itself. Oh, sorry, a school, right? So I have create one. Let me create with, right? So let's take class SCHOOL school. Okay. So school. Oh, one second. Okay. So now, so class SCHOOL school. Okay. So I've created school. So let assume I want n means n represent a number of objects. So 3 object, 4 object, 2 objects. So right now I'm creating, I want only 3 objects for my class, not more than that. So what I will do? The school is there, right? So I will create a 3 object, private static. All are private static. Okay. Now I want to create 3 object now. School, SCHOOL school, SCHOOL school. Let assume OB1, OB2, OB3. Okay. New SCHOOL school, new SCHOOL school, new SCHOOL. So now because I want to restrict that my class like in JVM only 3 object of my class should have not more than 3. So what I did, I first created all these three. Okay. Then second thing, I have to restrict the private constructor, right? Private SCH school. So no one access our school constructor outside of my class. Now, to return this three objects that I created, I need a method, right? Which type of method I need? Any guess? I need a static method, right? So,
You need a static.
yes. So public static SCH school, right? And then get school ins. INS I just given. Okay. Now, so what I did, uh, I have this three object to return. Okay. So what I'm doing, if math is having one method called random is greater than 0.5. Simply I'm writing a logic. Okay. Then one second. Return OB1. OB1. If if math dot random is greater than 0, sorry, is less than 0.5. Math dot random is less than 0. Then return OB2. Then one more condition. If math dot random is equal to 0.5, which is never happen. Like that, you will write this OB3 and then we'll close. You understand, right? Kritika?
No, actually, no. I
Okay.
didn't. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't understand this.
Okay. So see, I have three objects, right? So if I, because I created three objects, so I have to return, like whenever people call my method, right? Get this what we call get school ins, right? So I have to return one object. So every time if I return the same object, what will happen? The two object that I created, there is no use, right? Understanding my
Okay.
point? So what
Yeah,
I did,
okay.
I call a method dot random. Method dot random basically generate randomly, it will generate a number. Okay.
Okay.
It's a method which randomly generate a number. That number can be
Mhm.
less than 0.5, can be greater than 0.5, right? I don't know. So
Okay.
what happen whenever people call, so it will randomly generate a number. If number it, like how you play Ludo, right?
Okay.
So when you throw the dice, you don't know what number will come, right?
Yeah.
So similarly, method.random, I don't know which number it will return, right? But I'm comparing with 0.5. So if it return
Okay.
greater, I will return OB1. If it's return lower, I will return OB2. If equals, I will return OB3.
OB3. Okay.
Okay. The
Okay.
probability of getting equal is very less, but still, just for to make sense, right? If
Okay.
you have, you can implement other logic also. Like if current time,
Okay.
and any logic
Again,
you can.
yeah, sorry, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, so it is like for restricted for three object, right? You're
Yes,
saying.
yes,
So for three object, you have written this.
yes,
So if it is a four or five object restriction, then the code will be different.
yes. So
Okay,
it's
so you
not
have
always.
to, you cannot use the same. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's not always like math dot random. Okay. There
yeah.
might be other
Okay,
logic as well.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
It's
okay, fine.
not because I'm just demonstrating the use of nton. So I use math dot random because it's easy to explain you guys, right?
Yeah, yeah, I understand, I
You can
understand.
use
But this is
anything.
not a design for like, or it's not like a code applicable for all. I mean, n number of objects. It is applicable only for the three object restriction, right?
Yeah, you can use the same.
Okay,
If let assume I have to return a five object, right? So based
okay,
on the only two things that you have to make sure, only five object will get created,
will
okay?
okay,
And you
okay.
randomly will return one object, right? You cannot return same object every time, because if you create five object, you are returning same object, there is no use, right?
Yeah.
So this two